is my name. So work currently as an account manager for Essity, which is a professional hygiene is the site I work for, which the brand is Torque. So in terms of what led me here was I done leaving cert during COVID. It was a rough time, so I didn't want to go to college full time. So I went went into retail, which led me to sales. So then that's when I still wanted to get a qualification of some sort. So that's when I decided to look down the apprenticeship route.
And what made you choose Essity in particular?
They're a global company. They're market leaders in the professional hygiene sector, and there's not too many brands that people know as well as Callaghan, Plenty, Torque, all those. So it's a well-known company, and research I done on them, I saw everything is about that sort of 4 pillars. It's about care, collaboration, courage, all those bits, which leads to education and growth within the company.
For people who might not be familiar, could you explain what Essity does? So I think I might have seen Plenty as a brand in the supermarkets. What else?
So in terms of, in Ireland, we operate in 2 sort of different ways. So we have our retail side, which would be Callaghan, Plenty, Tenna, and then we have our professional hygiene side, which is Torque, which we can operate in healthcare, in restaurants, hotels, sort of anything with paper products, soap products, that's where we are.
What's been the most surprising aspect about working for a global company, versus what you might have expected or your previous experience?
You're well known, so it's our colleagues in the UK, we all know each other by name, and we touch base with each other, whereas you think sometimes with a big global company you're just a number, whereas I feel with SD you're known for the person you are, and you have people in the UK checking in. Our team over here in Ireland, we're all very close, so you're not just a number, you're part of the SD family.
That's remarkable, because it's a very large company.
Yeah.
How do you see Essity's role in people's daily lives, well, particularly during events like the pandemic? Yeah.
Look, we had a massive part of it when it's we have a huge amount of healthcare, so it's whether it's soap, sanitizers, whether it was hand towels, and then also we remember the big surge on household toilet rolls that we all saw at the start of COVID, so we were constantly there with our Callaghan, with our Plenty, all those bits, so
I do remember seeing bare shelves, and then obviously not being able to order online. Can you walk us through a typical day or what a week looks like from your perspective in your work?
Yeah, so for me, I'm an account manager, so I look after sort of the wholesale side of the business, calling on the cash and carries, doing orders with them, but then also going out to our customers, whether it's a pub, it could be healthcare, whatever it is. So it's going meeting the customers, seeing what their needs are, any issues they have, and then trying to provide them with a solution that suits their business.
How is your time split between your hands-on work and your classroom learning, your studying?
So the way it's done with the apprenticeship, it's great. So we have obviously our 2 days in college every 6 to 8 weeks, which is great because it's a block. You're in the classroom, you're with your other classmates. And then also we have our Thursday class, which is 2 hours. So it's great to touch base with everyone, keep the learning sort of every week as opposed to blocks. But then also it links in great with the job. It's not too much time away, but it's enough that you can focus on the education side of things.
Right. And how long is that actually, the full apprenticeship program?
It's 2 years.
It's a 2-year program?
Yeah.
Right, okay. What's been the most valuable skill that you think you've developed during your apprenticeship? I
suppose, one would be confidence. I felt in the classroom, it's since I left school, obviously it's sort of been working on my own, whether it's sales or in retail, you're constantly working, whereas going back into class, you're with people, you're having teamwork projects, whatever it is. So confidence has grown, whether it's speaking at the top of the class or helping with group projects. I feel more confident, and then I've been able to apply that to the job in our sales meetings. At the start I probably was a bit too quiet, but now it's, if topics come up that I feel about, I can speak up and feel confident about what I'm saying.
I think that's the same for any employee. You need to sort of find your feet before you feel you can make a contribution.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Describe the training program. What surprised you about the structure or content?
It's a lot of different modules. So at the minute we're doing psychology, sales, and we've done marketing and customer service. So it's not just focusing on one sort of topic. At the minute psychology is such a vast topic, but you're learning so much about how your customer thinks and how we think of sales going into these meetings. So you're learning so many different aspects of selling. It's not just sort of, let's say, a general sales course. It's covering a huge amount of topics.
And how do your mentors and colleagues support your learning and development?
Massively. So I've calls every week with TJ as we're driving or whatever it is, and we talk about what I studied that week in the Thursday class, or how the project is going. But then also, in fairness, we've a team of 7 here, sales in Ireland, and all the lads have been great. So I'd ring up Barry for an example, and he'd you could talk through something out, a project we might have done in the past, and he'll explain how he done it. And same with Lee, my line manager, they've all been brilliant, in fairness, helping.
What's been your biggest challenge as an apprentice, and how did you overcome it?
I suppose, probably been time management. It's structured well that we have this 2 hours on a Thursday, so I know that that's the time I have allotted for it. But then I haven't done projects and homework, if you like, since leaving school. So it's been trying to balance, trying to get sales and do well in the job, but then also do well in the course. So it's been a challenge, but in fairness, like between at home with family, they've been helping me, how do I structure it, and then also the lads in work, like TJ is great. He'll jump on a call at 7:30 in the morning if you need to go through something. So it's a bit self-learning, but also in fairness, everyone around me, they've been helping me get over this challenge of trying to figure out time and best way of doing it.
So Essity operates in over 120 countries. We have approximately 38,000 employees, and our products are used by over 1 billion people a day.
What types of facilities do you operate here in Ireland, and how do they fit into Essity's sort of broader organisation? Because you manage a few different brands that we might recognise here in Ireland, but not all of them.
So here in Ireland, we operate in 2 streams. So we have Torque Professional, which is the area I work in, and then we also have our retail piece of our business, which has brands that you would know like Cushell, Tenna, Plenty. So there's a diverse business model here.
Tell us about Essity's apprenticeship programme. How long has it been running, and for what roles do you typically recruit?
Essity as an organisation would be very much so into education, investment in people, and the apprenticeship process is something that's ingrained in the company, in particular in a manufacturing facility. This is the first time we've actually done a sales apprentice, so it's been quite an exciting new process for us to step into something different, and we feel it's going quite well for us.
Great. Bit of a learning curve on both sides.
Yeah. But enjoyable.
Yeah. What kinds of qualities or characteristics are those that you look for when you're selecting apprentices, say specifically in a sales position in this instance?
Well, for us, the qualities for the apprentice are obviously the same as the ones we look for when we're doing recruitment. So we're looking for someone who's honest, hardworking, but also has that willingness to learn, to bring forward education in what they do on a daily basis. Because as a company, what we offer on the Torque side of the business is a solution, not just a product. So it's understanding customer needs. And if you don't have someone who's willing to learn and be educated and take stuff on board, they won't be able to go out and see a customer and actually provide a solution for them.
How does the apprenticeship programme align with Essity's kind of broader talent development strategy, in terms of progression and, where you might start here, but, a pathway through the company?
The company is very much so into training, education, investment in people. And it's one of our core values is that piece, because if we're not investing in our people, they won't be able to progress through the chain. So the apprenticeship program has actually been very, very good for us. We've seen James, that's our apprentice, progress using tools that he's learnt on the course and actually get into the role faster. He's taken on roles within the company that someone who has only been with us for the period of time he has would normally do. So we've seen quite a progression step in there. He's actually taken on an ambassadorial role for one of our key product areas, so for the GB&I business. So there's been a lot that the apprenticeship program has given him, and there's been learning from both sides. I've learned from it as well. We've had a lot of discussions about some parts of the course where it's got a bit heated in a positive way, where he has one view, I have another view, and I think we both learned, and he's been bringing those tools forward, which has helped us in Essity.
Right. I suppose in some instances it may not always be easy to apply all models from the classroom to a specific business, and then maybe you're trying to adapt.
And it's taking aspects of those, Greg, into the business.
Yeah.
And that's what actually we found the apprenticeship program quite good, because while it's 2-day blocks and then it's doing the class each week online, it's also bringing that into the real life. So taking the nuggets that are actually applicable to what he's doing in our role from the class and bringing that to life. I think that's why the apprenticeship program we found quite good for us, because it's bringing it to life. So learning when he's actually doing the role has been very, very positive for us.
Fantastic. What initially stood out to you about James during the recruitment process?
I do know from the recruitment process that what stood out the most was his energy and enthusiasm and willingness to learn, because while it may seem on the face of it that it's a very, very simple product that we do, it's a quite complex to get out to a customer to give them a solution and understand their needs. So you have to have that willingness to learn. And James brought that through in the recruitment process, that enthusiasm and willingness to do that. And we've seen that come through in the apprenticeship, because his willingness to learn is the reason he's on the apprenticeship program, because he wants to learn and learn more and progress. And that's what we're looking for in our people.
How is the learning experience structured to balance the practical side with the formal training? How does that work from your perspective?
Yeah, for us, we found it quite good, because the lady that runs it from our side that interacts with us, Mairead, has given us the calendar, so we know what we're looking at for the year. As a company, we're quite structured in how we operate. We like to plan things out, like all good companies. We like to plan into the future, so we have a good structure there. We understand what that is. We have other training programs that Essity have, in terms to aid James in his role in selling as well. So we incorporate those, but the timeline and the framework that the apprenticeship have, we find it very, very good. We find the 2-day block release quite good, because that means he's focused in the classroom and he's there. But the weekly call, I think, is probably the real golden nugget. That one where he has got to constantly go back for those couple of hours every week and keep going back and interacting with class. So it's not that he's feeling remote from our point of view, remote from learning. It's actually integral into his daily work. And I think that's the piece that makes the apprenticeship quite good. Because we were a little bit hesitant when you think about apprenticeship, you think someone who's working, in a skills base, and how would it work in sales? And it's actually been excellent for us. We've seen that real bring the two together. So learn on the job, but also learning more outside of that as well. It's quite good.
Compared to somebody who hasn't gone through an apprenticeship program for sales, because I know in my perspective, when I worked in sales earlier in my career, it was very much on the shop floor, and you learn from your peers. So how do you measure the metrics of success in his development?
And I think it's a very good point that you raise. A lot of what's done out there is peer-to-peer training. Essity as a company are very much so into, while there's peer-to-peer, we're a huge company that involve a lot of outside training as well. We have our own internal university for training. Oh. Yeah, Sales University, but we also bring out outside influences in as well. And for us to measure James in his success, unfortunately for James, the bar has been set a little bit higher. And we're asking him to reach that bar now, because we're investing in him, he's investing his own time. Solus are investing in him. We're all saying that, well, we need more now when we're putting all this time in. So in terms of his metric, our expectation is higher. Hence the reason we've given him more roles, more responsibility, which probably wouldn't have come as quick. But we've had to do that to ensure that we're getting that return on investment for us all, and giving them that room to grow. But the expectation is higher.
What does being put forward for Apprentice of the Year mean to you?
It's a massive honour. It was always something I would love to have looked at and thought that'd be great, but it shows putting in the hard work does work. So whether it's doing the mentor calls every week when you might be up the walls with job, but it's important to keep on top of everything, and you'd be delighted to be put up for it. It's an honour.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, or where do you see your career going?
It's developing with Essity 100%, because that's what I said before I joined, is I want to grow whatever role I go into. So I'm currently account manager, and you can see a pathway forward of what my colleague Barry done. He was account manager doing this role. Now he's key account manager. And you have TJ, who's business development manager, and Liam, who's our line manager. So there is a clear path of everyone started at my level, and they've all grown within the company. So there is a clear pathway there, and that's where I see myself 5 years, hopefully, key accounts.
Would you recommend an apprenticeship path to other people considering career options instead of college?
100%. That buzzword, earn as you learn. So that side of things is great, as well as then getting your education whilst working. It's massive.
Okay. Thanks so much for your time, James.
Thank you.
Really hope I get back and talk to you again on the next leg. Best of luck.
Brilliant. Thank you.